Yesterday on Virgin Media, Shane Horgan did compare Ireland's Six Nations run to his side's ill-fated 2007 World Cup campaign.
I am a little bit worried, and I'll tell you why, because it just had a feeling for me around a similar feeling I experienced myself in the 2011 World Cup. 2007 World Cup. I've just erased it from my mind entirely. 2007 World Cup, where things were going brilliantly, and in that Six Nations before that World Cup, everything was great. We probably should have won the championship, lost it on the last day, the points difference. You put a massive score up against Italy, and everything seemed to be fine, and then a couple of things went wrong, and we just couldn't right it again. We just couldn't get it right. And I'm not saying that this group of players are in the same situation, but it's just a sense of that. And I thought today was the big opportunity to get things right again and get very positive. And you can see by the body language, by the way Sexton was shouting and screaming when he was coming off. By the way, even when they scored the Bowman's try, there was no celebration. In Sean Cronin's performance, in fact, Bundyaki went off, and nobody got the midfield going then afterwards. In so many areas, you just thought they didn't get things right.
Yeah, we didn't get things right in so many areas. As Shane Horgan, Alan Quinlan. Good morning to you. You're welcome back.
Morning. Yeah, thanks, Ger.
Nice little whistle-stop tour of the most romantic spots in Europe.
It was a quick
You
hit.
and Dave McIntyre.
Paris, Friday night.
Twin room.
Rome, Saturday night. And Dave McIntyre not talking to me, really, just doing his own thing.
Just ignored you.
A little bit, yeah. He kind of mooches off really quickly and through the airports, and I'm looking around, where are you? And he's trying to be one step ahead of everybody else and getting cues and stuff like that, and I'm looking around for him.
Yeah.
So he's not really babysitting me like I like,
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this. Are we overreacting, or is this absolute full-blown crisis time?
It's not full-blown crisis, I don't think. It's frustrating more. It's obviously frustrating for people watching, and we're going to analyse it and kind of pick it apart and stuff, but on the outside. But for the players themselves, they're frustrated. I think Joe Schmidt makes a very relevant point that they are trying too hard. Given what happened against England, and this team were on an unbelievable flow and an unbelievable run for the last 18 months, couple of years you could say. They found a way to win, and there was a lot of positives, and if they had a blip, they bounced back pretty quickly, creating a lot of chances and opportunities, and really, really good in their detail. So they've hit a wall where England, I suppose it's relevant to go back to that English game, because it's like the positivity and the
confidence,
the feel-good factor going into that was we beat England. They're going to be tough, very good English side, but we get through that and it kicks off our campaign. Historically, we've been a bit slow out of the blocks for some reason, and that has kind of dented our confidence a little bit. Then Scotland, I thought Scotland's a good win, because we're kind of expecting perfection, and really they were never going to lose that game. The disappointment in the end was not getting the bonus point win. And there was a feeling then that this one, and I even thought this, right, here's your chance to build a bit of confidence, get a good score, blood some more players, and then build for that last block. And they've kind of, uncharacteristic errors was the concern for me yesterday. I think it was 17 turnovers conceded, 15 handling errors. So it's just that the handling errors, there was a couple of them there where you go, well, that's a mental thing. It's not a skill set. I know one or two passes were poor, and there was a little bit of timing and overrunning passes, but some of the handling errors were really poor. The 4 lost lineouts out of 20. It doesn't seem a lot when you have 20 lineouts and lose 4, but like 2 lineouts can change the complexion of a game. Yeah. Particularly if you're in an attacking area.
They got a try off one of our lineouts.
Yeah. And if you're or in turn, if you're in a defensive area where you've got to win it and you clear it, sometimes people don't see the value and how important that line-out was to take away the momentum and confidence of the opposition, where you're really efficient, you win it, clear your lines, and you're hurting them, putting them down the field. Some of the kicks were really poor, not from Murray and Sexton, from other players, where we kick the ball up the middle of the field or we don't find touch. And Jaden Hayward, their full back, he's a lovely counter-attacker, and he's running straight back. And I always think, if you're a forward there, I think Sean O'Brien turned one over at one stage when Italy were after about 20, 25 minutes, Italy have us under pressure. He strips the ball brilliantly in the tackle, turns it over. I think we kicked the ball away. We got it back again where Sexton intercepted it, and then we kicked the ball straight down the field, and Hayward is back again. You know, they're kind of moments they're crucial moments that some people maybe mightn't see any value in. But you got to put those ones out in the stand. Then as a forward, you're running down the field with the Italian guys around you, and you feel the energy, you feel the lift from that. So defence can win you games, and then tactical play. So tactically we made mistakes. And going back to what Joe said about them trying too hard, I just thought a lot of the time yesterday they were just shipping the ball on, and then they'd make a little bit of ground, and then someone would get kind of driven back by a two-man tackle, and then we're trying to recycle and run around and realign. The Italians are coming around the corner and they're sprinting off the line again. It's very hard to play that. So I just thought at times we needed to probably tighten it up a little bit and pick and jam around the rucks and stuff like that. And so our team's figuring us out a little bit. Well, Conor O'Shea got a strategy, and every team has this strategy: stop the opposition defensively, get loads of numbers in their faces. But it's just what you do before that with the ball and stuff. And you know, there's just too many times it wasn't good enough.
There's part of you feels like you'd like to see what would have happened if they'd managed to catch the restart that drifts over one of their lads' heads that Stockdale scores a try from.
Scores, yeah.
Like, you know, we're not going to score one of those tries every week. It wasn't through sheer creativity and brilliance that we scored the try that wins the game.
To be fair, the Quinn Roux try was pressure, momentum, hard lines, some great carries.
So do it again.
And
keep doing it. And
the Earls try in the second half was the same. So at other times we just gave the ball away with no real sustained pressure, and at times we were going nowhere, going over and back. So it's a bit of a blip for sure, and some of the accuracy was really bad, and it is a concern. But I wouldn't overly react the same way. Look, they're in a kind of a tough place at the moment, and Wales made 10 changes for their game in Italy, and they struggled as well. They won by 10 points as well. And
that's a fair point,
you know,
as well,
they go then and beat England. Do you know what I mean? There's about 10 guys. Like, I was trying to go through the players: Best, Healy, Ryan, Toner. That's 4 players in the front 5.
Yeah.
You could say Tyg Byrne and Ian Henderson are 2 players who could start as well. So that's about 6 players in that front 5. Then you've Stander, your first choice number 8 is missing. Then your second choice number 8, Conan, is missing. You know, there's about 6, 7 forwards there that could easily start, and you think, yeah, they can change things up. They're big game players. And then you look at the back line where, you know, you've Henshaw, Ringrose, Larmour, Carberry, which he gives you something different. You know, he gives you that option off the bench as well. Aki going off early. You know, so there's a lot of players that have come out there. So is it a good thing at the moment?
Well, you don't want this happening in the middle of the World Cup, right?
Well, you'd love to have gone to Rome at the weekend and had a great performance. I was saying, what's a good result? And I was chatting to Dave about it beforehand. A good result is 20-25 point win for me, and not conceding sloppy tries and being a bit ruthless. Our maul was really poor, and the refereeing around the maul at the moment is just catastrophic, in my opinion. Not just for Ireland, for everyone. It's happening in European rugby. The guys are coming around the side, right, and the maul is twisting and turning, and then they're just staying there.
Yeah.
They're kind of.
And the referees are actually telling them, you know,
they're not telling them get out. They're just leaving them.
Are they telling them to stay binding?
Yeah, if you stay bound, you know,
you're okay on the wrong
you're
side.
kind of okay, and it's this interpretation. It's shambolic at the moment. And when I played, the maul was always seen as a brilliant weapon. Very hard. I remember the great Leicester team that beat us in 2002 Heineken Cup final. Johnson, Back, Lewis Moody, Ben Kay, Rowntree, Cockerell, all these guys. They were mauling teams off the park. And I remember that final, we tried to stop that maul. We did do that really well, and we were very proud of that, but they got 2 other tries and they beat us 15-9. But it's gone. The art of the maul is gone, and it's not being refereed properly, and it needs to be some clarity around that. And Ireland are getting no go forward from their maul, really.
Because that was a big thing for us, that we felt that our maul was better than everybody else's.
Right, okay. Am I making excuses and saying, well, other teams can cope, New Zealand can, and England have coped, and Wales didn't need to maul England all over the place. But there's certain times that you need to work your maul really well, and Joe Schmidt made a point last week as well that maybe Ireland are too disciplined and they're too nice at times, and they're allowing teams to frustrate them now, and that teams have worked out, look, get in Ireland's faces here, niggle them, be awkward. Like there was a load of mauls yesterday that kind of split off, and there's 2 or 3 Italian players holding O'Mahony, holding Deland. They're actually stopping them from reconnecting with the maul for 2-3 seconds, and it has an effect. And then you end up with a maul of 3 or 4 guys against 3 or 4, as opposed to 8 against 5 or 8 against 6.
And the whole team doesn't benefit.
Yeah, so look, that's just one kind of point that's annoying me in the modern game of rugby as it stands. But
the Italians afterwards, their first question in the press conference was reportedly to Conor Murray, Conor, we were playing against 16 men out there today, because they felt like they got completely ridden by the referee. And you know, there's a case that Rob Kearney should have been penalised and yellow carded. There's a case that Rob Kearney was actually totally fine with the tackle when the ball gets chipped through that time.
That was unlucky though, wasn't it? Like, it was so, you're talking about a split second, he couldn't get out of the way.
It's a bump. Look, we'd probably look for it and say, but I tell you,
if that happened against us, we'd be up.
For their second try, your man
pushes Earls.
Adavani, he just pushes Earls clean onto the ground.
Yeah.
Right, Earls gets back up and ends up going back and being involved in the tackle area. But if Earls is on his feet there, there's every chance that he affects it and negates that attack. And
yeah,
it's a penalty. It's a clear penalty.
I wonder though, does that not get given? Because he's clearly running a lazy line at that point.
Yeah, but like, he's entitled to run back. He's not blocking anyone off, and he's trying to retreat to get back and help. But look,
it did feel a bit like, sure, it's only Italy.
Yeah,
we'll let them
let it flow.
Yeah.
Look, I'd heard that question about Glenn Jackson, and I saw some stuff online about it from some people. Italy's discipline was poor. They should have been penalised way more in the maul. So a couple of decisions probably went their way, but I didn't see it, and I genuinely tried to watch it, even though I want Ireland to win, as neutral as I can. I didn't see any major decisions that he gave against Italy that would have affected it. Their discipline was really poor at times, and
you do have to wonder if you're Conor O'Shea, when you have a kicker who is as flaky as the kicker that they have, but they also have a fullback who is traditionally a kicker. Why not let that guy kick? Yeah,
from Tommaso Allen, the couple of the conversions he missed, and
penalty as well.
Yeah, penalty as well. So it was a long-range penalty, to be fair. I was surprised they were kicking that one, because the wind was kind of swirling in the stadium a little bit. But to be fair, I had a good chat with Sergio Parisse before the game, and I've had these chats with him before, and he's been optimistic. But I felt yesterday that there was a genuine kind of positivity about the way they're going. They have a guy, Paul Atkinson, with Italy now, who's head of athletic performance, and they're kind of trying to implement a similar system here, where they have control of the national players between Zebra and Benetton, which they have, because they're funded by the national union, and that their fitness levels and their skill sets
are improving.
And he spends a lot of time with those, and they're getting to a level where they're trying to have a real good structure there.
Good enough to be able to be sticky for Ireland, an Ireland team short of some with less players?
Of course be sticky, but if you... I don't know, Shane Horgan said in Virgin that, or Peter O'Mahony said afterwards, a very good Italian team and they're a very good side. I don't think they are. I think we should be a lot better than that, and I agree with Shane Horgan that I played against Italian sides that were a lot more aggressive and robust, and, Dominguez at out half, Troncon at scrum half,
does it have
Parisse, Bortolami, Perugini, Ongaro, Cicero, the loose head, hard, abrasive. Now, they're probably more skillful this side, but I don't think they'd hurt you physically as much.
That conversation led on to the reminiscing, if that's the right word, of 2007 in that World Cup. Is there the bang of 2007 off this team yet for you?
No.
I mean, that team was great. Look at that picture. That team was a brilliant team.
It was, yeah. And I was sitting in the stand at the World Cup, giving out that I wasn't going to be involved. To be fair, it was well documented. That team was split. We went to Argentina, 30 of us, was 15, 16 guys left at home.
And this team is less split, because I think that there's a chance that everybody who got a game yesterday feels like they have a chance, right?
Yeah, and I think, look, we've developed so much depth now in the group, but I think what some of the players probably have to realise now, particularly after the last two matches, is there's a higher level of performance required. Like, we beat Italy 57-14 in November with a completely second-string team. Now, I know they had probably, you know, a few of their frontliners missing, but they were definitely they had more of a first team than Ireland had. Six Nations is different. It's just a competitive edge to it. There's more urgency about it. There's more desire, passion about it. And look, I've been to Italy many times with good Irish sides who've struggled.
Yeah.
And we're happy to get a 10-point win, a 5-point win, a 9-point win. But I just think the standard of this team is set for themselves, and the expectation that's following them around a little bit now. And naturally, I think, like the hysteria over the English game, I wouldn't be that concerned. I think what we do have now is we've got to find ways of coping with pressure, on-field pressure, better if we're not as dominant as we usually have been. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of our success last year is on the back of brilliant line-out, brilliant scrum, efficiency at the breakdown, really good ball carries, good presentation for Murray. So you take away 2 or 3 of those, dodgy line-out yesterday, been stopped on the gain line, slow breakdown, what do? So we actually haven't. These situations now hopefully will stand the team in good stead. Gerard, they haven't become bad players overnight. I think there's been a fair bit of disruption, so they didn't play well enough. The big concern for me yesterday is the the turnovers conceded and the handling errors.
Yeah.
That's down to
fixable.
The top couple of inches.
That's all
but
fixable.
it's upstairs. So I think it's key what Joe Schmidt, the kind of strategy and the way he deals with this now. And look, I would trust him to get this right.
They've got it right before. We're running a competition this morning. The prize is a brilliant prize for the last training session before the France game. You get to go in and shout out the kitman, but we're asking people for their favourite jersey ever, favourite rugby jersey ever.
Yeah.
Do you have one? I like
one
the
to
navy.
wear, the big baggy ones from when I started out.
They were a fashion item back in the day.
I swapped my French jersey in my first start in Dublin in the Six Nations. It was my second cap in 2001. I swapped that for the French jersey, but you get 2 jerseys, so I swapped the second one.
Right.
And I just loved that French
That's
jersey.
your Ireland one there, is it?
Yeah, they were the old baggy ones. Yeah, they're fairly stretchy.
Look at how scrawny O'Gara is.
And O'Driscoll.
But then when they went for the tight fitted jerseys, which were probably around 2002, 2003, that's the French jersey I would have swapped with. It was short sleeve, it was cool. Yeah. I still have it, the white collars.
You wear it out sometimes?
No, I do not. No, they're all kind of locked away. I'm keeping them for the young lad.
Just on the Carney situation last night, he got 5 yesterday. Where are we at full back now?
Well, he was the saviour in Scotland, and
I think that 5 is a bit harsh.
It is a bit harsh, yeah. I think it is a bit harsh. He dropped one ball that was kind of uncontested, which it kind of sums it up. It was just kind of here's another mistake, here's another mistake. Here's guys who don't usually make these errors. So
was it a day just when for
yeah,
no
just all those mistakes kind of started to translate around into the group, and they were all panicking. And I think what they were leadership is saying a team lacked leadership is kind of insulting in some ways, but when good leadership is players taking control on the field, having a little huddle saying, look, just put the ball down the field, or do this or this, and someone kind of throwing the toys out of the pram and rattling players in any level of sport. And we probably didn't see enough of that energy yesterday. Yeah. People were looking around saying, well, Jesus, who's going to do something brilliantly here? And there's probably 3 players that I could find who were full of energy and full of commitment, and that was Earls, O'Mahony and Ultan Dillane. I thought Ultan Dillane was brilliant. He's the kind of fella that, you know, he's non-stop. He put in 20 tackles, and they were all good tackles. Yeah. They were really and 2 of the tackles led to turnovers for Peter O'Mahony. So there's a lot of other guys who were just dead in their feet, which is unfortunate and strange.
Plenty of time to fix it, though, before the World Cup, so we're still going to win it. Don't worry about it. Queenie, good stuff. Thanks very much.
Sure.
We'll get back to this in about 25 minutes' time with Ronan O'Gara.